we move on to do a full reaction to today's CONMEBOL World Cup fixtures and some interesting results happen all the way. Let's go in order. Colombia, great bounce back victory for them. They were able to defeat the likes of Chile. Chile sitting right now, I believe they're bottom of the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying standings, and Colombia, they just took advantage with just quality that they have. By the way, that kit that they played with, what a beautiful kit. That was a really beautiful kit. But yeah, Colombia, Luis Diaz got on the score sheet. Davison Sanchez, Jean Duran. We know Jean Duran, the impact that he's had on Aston Villa on the bench. Similar impact coming off the bench for Colombia. And then Luis Sinistra getting the 93rd minute goal to lay down the thumping. And yeah, Colombia, they just thoroughly dominated this game because they just have much more quality, and it was good to quickly bounce back from that sour taste that they had in their mouth after Bolivia. And an overall good victory for them as they currently sit second place in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying standings with 19 points. Paraguay 2-1 win over Venezuela in what did I say specifically talking about this game? This game was very important for Paraguay because in these CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, the most important thing to do is to take care of your results that come at home. Protect Asuncion, which is the city that they played in Paraguay. Protect, get the 3 points that you can get at home, and make sure you secure the victories at home and then get whatever you can on the road. And what Paraguay did against a direct competitor in Venezuela, because they're around that middle part in that 6th, 7th, 8th place sort of range, that are going to be direct competitors to Paraguay, trying to clinch a spot in the World Cup. To defeat them and to get the 3 points and to leave them with none, big result for Paraguay, and it's something that that can be a big result for them going forward, because now they're sitting in a good position, sitting in 6th place, which is an automatic qualification position, but they find themselves now a point ahead of Bolivia after Bolivia lost today, and then 2 points ahead of Venezuela, and we know Venezuela, that is a direct competitor. So big win in my opinion for Paraguay. And honestly, from all the teams in this that won in this match day, I believe they are probably the biggest winners, because that's a big result for them. And also they had a good result going away to Kyoto against Ecuador, getting a point from them. Overall 4 points from these two. It's a really good day for Paraguay, and because they want to find themselves back into the World Cup. They haven't qualified for the World Cup since 2010, and it's picking up the points where you can get them. Winning, make sure you maintain protecting your home field, and then when you go away, trying to get any result that you can get, and that is exactly what they've done. Great window for Paraguayan national team. Uruguay disappointment continues in my they've continued their streak of their winless streak now with another 0-0 draw for Ecuador, and it doesn't really show in the standings. They're still sitting 3rd right now, tied with Brazil, ahead of Brazil with a goal differential. With a goal differential, 1 goal difference between them two. But Uruguay, they've been, it's not been good enough for Uruguay. You're talking a team that in the last, that are winless in their last 10 games, if you're talking about it within the 90 minutes. They haven't won a game within the 90 minutes in their last 10 games. It's been a lot of draws in their last 5 games, 4 draws and a loss. And the problem in every one of those games is they haven't scored. They haven't scored a single goal in the last 4 games, Uruguay. And that's something that is very it's a really bad showing for Darwin Nunez. He's supposed to be this world-class, number 9 that can get the goals, that will carry on the reins from Edison Cavani and Luis Suarez. Darwin Nunez is supposed to be that player, and for him to allow this Uruguayan team to, be scoreless in their last 4 games, to not take advantage of an opportunity himself, but not to be able to create something for one of his teammates, maybe open up space with the pace that allows another player in. Diarezqueta as well. He's supposed to be that number 10, that technically gifted, cute and clever, tidy player. No goals in the last 4 games. The attack has been a little bit toothless. I think defensively they're very, very solid. We know the midfield with Valverde and Ugarte, it doesn't get much better than that. Players like Bentancur being on the bench because of how brilliant that midfield is. But the attack is lacking that little bit of toothless, a little bit of that cutting edge, a little bit of that quality, lack of consistency, not being clinical enough, and it's an issue that they need to fix. Because look, they're managed by Marcelo Bielsa, and we know the little bit turmoil that Suarez spoke about, but this is something that can go really down a dark road for Uruguay if they don't get this together. Because right now, look, they're still sitting pretty in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, sitting in 3rd and not in major danger of missing out on the World Cup as of right now, but they need to step it up, and their next 3 games in the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, now obviously 2 will be in November and then the next one will be in March, but their next 3 games in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers is Colombia, Brazil, Argentina. They can really find themselves drop down that table if they don't discover it. If they start if they continue this streak of being scoreless, they can find themselves a lot lower than expected. Because look, they find themselves 16th right now in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, but they're only 5 points away from Venezuela, who's sitting in 11th, or they're only 3 points away from dropping down to 6th with Paraguay, or 4 points away from dropping down to 7th to Bolivia. It's pretty tight in there. Apart from Colombia and Argentina, 3rd place and 8th place is within 5 points, which is not that wide of a margin. And third place and sixth place is only 4 points. Or 3rd place and 7th place is only 4 points. 3rd place and 6th place is only 3. There's not that much of a margin that Uruguay have now with the amount of points that they've dropped over their past few games. So it's something that they need to fix, because that's a massive, massive issue for them. Them not being able to score goals, that's a massive issue. Argentina 6-0 win over Bolivia. I said this yesterday. Look, Bolivia, quality-wise, they're probably the worst team in CONMEBOL. We saw them at the Copa America. They were a very, very bad team. Because look, the players are not that they don't have good players. The players are not the most technically gifted, there's not much quality in the team. They have 12 points because, they took advantage of a Chilean team away that really is horrible. And then the rest of the 3 games came because of the altitude, because of, the supreme advantage that they have playing in Bolivia, in which that they can tire out opponents because of the extreme altitude that they play in. But now they go away to Argentina, in which I said their quality will be tested, and they were absolutely dismantled because they're just not a good team. 6-0, and it could have been more. Lionel Messi completely dominated the game. A vintage Messi performance, hat-trick from him, and then he also had 2 assists, 5 goal contributions, which, should eliminate those, Messi is this, Messi's still a great player, Messi is still much needed in this Argentina team. He makes this Argentinian team tick, and he's a brilliant player, and he's still capable of moments like this. And that's something that we needed a little bit of, or people needed a little bit of a reminder of, and he came out and he showed us what player he still is. 6-0 win for them, and they're sitting pretty on the top with 22 points. Argentina are continuing their high-flying ways. Brazil, probably their most impressive performance since the 2022 World Cup, I do have to say. They're definitely the most impressive performance so far in this World Cup qualifiers, coming through 9 games, completely dominating, outclassing Peru. You look at the statistics, 18 shots to 3, 8 shots on target to 2, 70% possession almost. Rafinha, I thought, yes, his 2 goals came from penalties, but I thought overall he played a really, really good game. Looked a lot more dangerous in the last game. Find themselves in more involved. I thought Rodrigo looked more effective playing off that left hand side, playing in his natural position, a position that he doesn't really play much in for Real Madrid because Vinicius Junior's there. But yeah, I was impressed with Brazil. I thought this was a really good performance, and it's something now that they can build on. They're potentially getting Neymar back for the next window as they take on some difficult games in that next window, and they were able to build on last week's 2-1 comeback win over Chile, and the big thing for Brazil is secure the 6 points because they found themselves in a really bad position after the last international break in the standings, but now they're looking much more much better. You see, they're only 3 points off second place Colombia. They're tied right now with Uruguay. They're sitting fourth place, but tied with Uruguay, who's third. They're level on 16 points with Uruguay in third place. Only 1 goal differential. The difference between them two, 7 goal differential for Uruguay, 6 for Brazil. And then they find themselves 3 point clear of direct competitors in Ecuador, Paraguay. I think Brazil, this was a window and it's something that they can build on. I was really concerned with their last week, but this result today, that looked like vintage Brazil, and it's something that they really, really needed, and it's something that they can use now to manage control now, to control this going forward. And now they have the opportunity to take on Uruguay and Venezuela and Uruguay in their next international break. 2 games I'll be looking very forward to. we move on to do a reaction to some of the top soccer headlines. Um, and we discuss Messi's performance for Argentina. Something that I didn't get to talk about in the last segment is some comments he had after the game, saying basically almost saying that these games could be his last. He said it is very nice to play here, feeling the affection of the Argentina fans. It makes me emotional to listen how they shout my name. We all enjoy this connection with all the fans, and we love playing at home. Um, when he was asked about his future, he said, "I didn't set any date or deadline about my future. I'm just enjoying all this. I am more emotional than ever and taking all the love from the people because I know these can be my last games." Which, yeah, he also went on to say, "It's a joy to be present and appreciate this moment. Being surrounded by younger teammates, given my age, makes me feel like a kid again. I find myself doing silly things because I feel so comfortable. As long as I maintain that feeling and can continue contributing to the team, I plan to be here enjoying." For me, look, obviously that's the case, but he's still involved, he's still playing, he's still having ridiculous games like yesterday. I think slowly, he's not going to admit this, and maybe it's something that he doesn't even really think about, and he's really taking it one day at a time. But he's just slowly building into a player that I think he'll be available for Argentina at the 2026 World Cup. I just have a gut feeling. I just don't see him, suddenly retiring now in the middle of the World Cup qualifying window or anything like that, or leading them to the World Cup and not play in it. I just don't see it. I think it's all set up for Messi playing his last international games in America, playing in the country that he plays his club football in, and having that one last opportunity with Argentina to get another international trophy. I really That's really what I see. So that's well, that's my guess. Obviously, I don't know anything, and obviously a big injury could always derail that. So you pray that nothing like that happens to Messi, but you know yeah, well, it remains to be seen. Sir Alex Ferguson, he's set to be stepping back from an ambassador role that he has at United at the end of the season. Apparently, the decision comes from the club and is part of a cost-cutting initiative that was put in place since Sir Jim Ratcliffe purchased a minority stake in February. United, they finalized a redundancy of about 250 member of the staff that saved around 45 million pounds, and it seems like Ferguson is one of those members. Ferguson, he's been a club ambassador since 2013, in which he retired as a manager after 25 years in the boss. And it's been reported that this ambassador role has allowed Sir Alex Ferguson to earn more than $2 million annually.